First of all, my real name's Tim, so you all can call me Tim if you want. Tight stops is just a reminder to me every day since I joined the strat about 7 months ago to keep those tight stops. So, but for today, I wanted to just go over TradyTics. I'll go into more detail of kind of what I use it for, but I'm just going to do a real quick overview of most of the stuff. It's an amazing tool, and you know, he's always there to answer my questions, and he always takes my suggestions on changes. So we'll start. So on the main page on TradyTics, and this is the only part I don't like. It's hard to grab this side, but we'll just start at the very first one, the market dashboard, the stock market summary. It's going to give an intraday perspective on how the SPY, the Qs, and the IWM are doing in that particular day. Market momentum, what's leading, which nothing was leading, so, and the market direction is bearish for that particular day. And then it's got the same, this is probably actually from TOS, but kind of the market overview that TOS uses. Biggest gainers, biggest losers, self-explanatory for that day. And how the sectors are doing, which I kind of like to look at, which Friday was pretty awful. So it also has some market news in there and some upcoming earnings. Not a page I use a ton, but you know, it's there for when you need it. The options page is something I like to look at too. It's going to have the SPY and Q total premiums. So there's 42 million in put premiums on Friday, and there's only 31 million of call premiums on Friday. So, and the Qs were 42 million puts and 7 million calls. So, kind of gave us an idea where we're going Friday. This is the same concept as the main stock page, but this is option bullish flow and bearish flow. Kind of like to look at that if I'm not in something or I'm just kind of hanging out at lunch. But this is, I mean, this tool is really cool. There's so much stuff in here, which I'm not going to go over everything. What's the highest call volume for that particular day for calls? AFRM, we know, was sick. GM, MU was good. Piton, we know that was great. And then Apple, puker. But and then highest put premium change, highest call premium change. That's the premiums. I look at the volume mostly, but it's anybody's personal preference is what they do. Largest flow, Tesla is always going to be on here. They're on here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But if you see obscure things in here, that's what I like to look at. You know, I don't pay much attention. We know Tesla gets flow every day. And then this is the same sector flow volume for the calls and puts. So this is different than the actual sector volume for the whole market, whether it's commons or options. So we see energy was very strong in the call side and financials was very weak. And then same thing, this is the premiums on this side. Once again, I like to look at the volume. And then you get into some other cool tools. High volume cheapies, cheap contracts, $67 contract, $85 contract. And what these are is stuff getting really high volume. So what they're saying towards the end of the day, it looks like maybe Apple was getting a lot of calls for the 917 155s on Friday. High volume leaps. I'm not a big leap guy unless I maybe I'm hedging something, but they are there for you to look at. Largest out of the money strikes. Probably whenever you're looking at futures, which I don't pay much attention to because they're usually hedges. So that you always get big volumes on IWM, Qs, and SPY. And this is open interest. How much open interest? Doesn't mean they bought it, but we know what open interest is. And just an overall market options market dashboard with every single stock, which I'm not going to go over. So that is the stocks, the options, crypto. I'm not a crypto guy. I'm not going to talk about crypto today. Chatters, this is kind of cool. The only problem with this is it's a little delayed, so it's not like up to the minute. So on Wall Street, Bets Chatter, Clove was Friday's most mentioned, GME second, SPY was third. And then this is the weekly chatter for the whole week. And then this is kind of what I look at. I don't look at the apes. I mean, this is basically just ape plays, and I don't look at the ape plays very much. But you know, if you're trying to get in on an AMC or GME, when you start seeing like this high volume of mentions on Clove, and then the fall off, you know, it can. That means the apes just aren't that interested anymore. Same thing with GME. Coming here Thursday and Friday, they just weren't as interested. SPY, same thing. This is flat. AMC is on a downtrend on the mentions. Apple downtrend. Wish going up. So that's the ape side of the Wall Street chatter. There's a SPACs room, penny stocks room, which I don't ever look at. I don't know anything about this Theta gang, but it's in here. They don't have enough mentions for me to care too much about. I mean, 37 mentions of GME Friday. I mean, not that important to me. So we'll start getting into kind of the good stuff here. The ticker dashboard. This is the stocks section. They actually have a built-in chart, so you can change this to QQQ and Boeing. You can add trend lines. It can auto add them for you. I don't use that much. Support and resistance lines, you know, an old TA thing. But it can auto draw those for you too. And dark pool levels, which I kind of like. I'm a big dark pool guy. You keep clicking it to make it brighter, and it's showing the dark pools where they bought. And I use those for support and resistance too when I'm swinging stuff. So, and I'll get into more dark pools here in a minute. But you can add other TAs. I'm not going to get into this either because it's just not something that's going to be the focus of this webinar. This is one that I go to all day, every day. This is what's always on my screen. No matter, and the cool thing about TradyTics is I can open up multiple screens. The bad thing about TradyTics, which he's working on, is I'd like to have four windows up at a time on one screen and watch 4 different tickers, because every time I want to check the flow, which I'm going to get into this because this is a freaking amazing tool, you have to just change the stocks. So, but that's okay. He's constantly working, fixing things, and it's a great tool. All right, so this is kind of one of the main focuses I want to talk about today, the stock price and algo flow. This thing is pretty freaking incredible. Here on Boeing, this is not a good example. So the yellow line is the stock price. This is a 1-minute chart. And right here you had some divergence where the algo started to buy and the price started to come in. He's working on a divergence tool it'll give you instant notifications in the Discord, and I'll talk about the other notifications you get that we'll have in the Discord too. But these divergence lines are pretty darn cool. When the price is coming down and the call volume is going up, yeah, you want to pay attention to your price action because this never came back through. But this is not a good example, but I just pulled it up anyway, just for random. Also, the algo score is not very good either. For calls, you want to be above this 0 right here. And you want to really be above 1.0. And for puts, you want to be below negative 1.0 on the algo score for these to kind of pan out. But as you can see, if you started playing this off the strat and got an early entry in the morning, and the price action keeps going down, your algo's not going up, you're pretty safe in this short. And then you start seeing this come in. Yeah, you consolidated here for quite a long time, but there was never any instance of a big buy signal of calls coming in. So that's why I really love this tool to keep me into trades. I've just been doing very well on my intraday. Like, I can trade, instead of trading for 10 minutes, I can hold things for a couple hours to see if I can, I'll sell some of my contracts off in profit, but I'll keep my runners and just keep an eye on this flow throughout the day. So it's a pretty powerful tool. Let's look at something that kind of blew up on Friday. Oh, well, this is not me, so he must. I hope he didn't just go down for the day to make changes. This is not good timing. He likes to do all his updates, obviously, on the weekend, and he might be doing updates right now. Sorry, guys. And I can't even get to the login screen. Alright, so I'll go back to options. I'm going to try a different stock than GM. What else ran? Piton. There we go. So this is just a beautiful chart all day anyway. Didn't really need much algo flow to tell you it was a great day for Piton. But one thing that was interesting as we got later in the day, the algo flow is just going crazy. Then it starts to kind of level off here, but the price is still kind of consolidating up. But once you get this divergence here, where this green algo line crosses through the price action, it's a time to kind of rethink it, because as you can see the rest of the day, the algo's leveled off, but the price just kind of slowly tailed off to the downside too. So when something's strong, which is not happening all day long right now usually, you just want to keep an eye on this algo, because if the price wants to keep going, this algo really needs to kind of keep going too. And that's how I use this thing, and just it's freaking amazing. I love this tool. One thing he is working on, because I talked to him about this today. You can expand the hourly. So this is by the hour chart. He doesn't have the algo line working, and he told me he was going to work on this today. So, but it's the same thing. If this algo line was on here, you would see this divergence here over the long-term frame, and it would be better if this line was here, where it diverged over and the price came in. That's a sign of weakness, and sure enough, it went down for almost from August 9th to August 23rd. And then you get another divergence right here to the upside, where the price crossed over the algo line, and that would have been a nice big run right there. So, but he needs to get these algo lines fixed so I can show better. It's the same thing, the daily. The algo lines are not showing up right now. So he is working on that. So I'll scroll down here. Call versus put volume each day. So we obviously had a lot more call volume. Open interest, something I'm not too concerned about. people are just sitting there. Not something I care too much. Premiums, historical premiums. This is kind of cool if you're swinging something. If you got stuff where it's nice and low, it's the same thing with volume consolidation. Basically, they're just kind of sitting here trying to figure out what we want to do with this thing. And so obviously the day before Friday was a great day for Piton too, and the volume shows that. And this is kind of where things were starting to get on the back end for us for early entry, and then consolidation, then rip. So IV rank, intrinsic value. Gamma exposure, not a big gamma guy. Dominant expiration dates, September 17th was the dominant one. And then somebody bought some leaps, a bunch of leaps for 120, 122. Your bigger institutions and your big money is going to buy these short-term plays sometimes, but they're going to buy them farther out for safer because they got billions to play with. And this is your dominant strike prices on Piton. Open interest by strike. Don't pay much attention to it myself. Max pain strike. It's the pain strike where you're likely to suffer the most pain. So the 917 100s is what it's saying, has some higher pain. I don't know this very well on the pain part. I don't pay much attention to that. Unusual contracts and largest orders. So 70 contracts for 42.83 at the 42. So 79, 17, 20, 21 for $42 million. And then the options heat map showing you how hot a particular call is. The 917s were the ones to have, obviously. Which Nate killed it for everybody. So that's that page. I mean, I really only, like I said, this is the main thing I use it for, is to keep me in and out of trades. I love this chart. It's a powerful chart, and I use it on every trade. Another crypto thing. So this is just an AI summary. I don't use this much either. It's going to give you it's an AI tool to kind of try to predict action. I don't put a lot of faith into that, but they're saying 53% chance the SPY is bearish on this particular chart. So not going to go over into that in too much detail. So this is another powerful tool. So let's say you're trying to scalp Tesla. Instead of watching level 2, you can watch the flow as it comes in. And what you want to see if you're long or short, like right here, you see all these puts, it's a pretty big safe bet. If you're short, you're still pretty safe. But if you're scalping stuff and you start seeing call put, it's probably not a good time to scalp. So I'm not a big scalper, but just wanted to throw that out there for some of you guys that are. And this goes on forever because Tesla is ridiculously. And here, look at this put volume, just huge put sweeps coming in at 9:10 a.m. on Tesla. And you can watch the overall market flow, which is just not something I want to do, but because you'll get every damn ticker out there coming in. But that's what it's saying. Overall flow in the whole market's bearish. Total premiums on the market. There are 61% calls over puts, so that means there's 40% puts. And this is something you want to look at when you're looking at a particular stock, buys versus sells. So we're 50% buy, 50% sell on the live options throughout the whole market. It's just not a good day to trade in general as far as, and you got to find particular tickers. So let's look at Tesla that day on Friday. So Tesla wasn't a lot better, but I didn't look at Tesla Friday, but knowing what the market did, it probably did go down. but it's only 47% put selling. So 60% of these were calls, or excuse me, puts. Because the 40% number is how many calls they bought versus puts. So this is actually 60% puts that were bought, and only 40% of calls were bought that day. So that's a sign that that thing was going to go down also. I'm not going to get in a ton of detail on all this stuff because I don't want to make this video like super duper long. The sweeps ratios, you can filter all kinds of stuff out. You know, I can maybe do another session sometime, but I'm trying to go through this kind of quickly. So this is what's going to be in the Discord. You're going to get an alert from this TradyFlow bot. It's going to say cost, call, expiration December 17th. Strikes 470. The stock price is at 465.80. The ask price is $16 per contract, $16.80 per contract. The premiums are 1.37 million premium, and the stock difference percent between your strike and the stock price is just under 1%. So that's not a crazy strong signal on Costco. 1.37 million in premium. I mean, it's a pretty good sign, but so what's this TradyFlow is going to be putting in the Discord is, you know, when these pop in, you want to take a look at your charts and do all of our own due diligence and see if these call outs make sense. So same thing, Friday at 2:45 my time, Central Time. D-Dog, 9/17/2021, large contracts came in. Strike 140. Stock is at 136.96. Bid and asks, 7 orders. $189,000 in premium. That's a pretty good size order on that particular stock because D-Dog is strong. And percent difference 0.88. So that's one I would look at. I like trading D-Dog. Made some pretty good money off that on that run up I think it was a week before. And also on the call out, I think it was Monday or Tuesday on Nate. I got in that play too. Thanks, Nate. But this is their bread and butter for the Discord, the TradyFlow. So definitely keep an eye on that. Me personally, I don't really look too much at small caps that come in unless it is an ape thing and it's starting to get some things attention. You know, if we can make a big chunk off AMC or Clove, I'm all for it. But yeah, and you can filter. Oh, you cannot filter these. You can change call to put, short term. I was thinking you could filter actually names, symbols, but you can't. So that's the TradyFlow that is going to be a cool tool in the Discord. And also that divergence tool that will be in Discord when he's done is going to be really, really sweet too. Dark pool, this is one of my favorite things in the world. Markets kind of gives an overview. I don't pay much attention to this page either. SPY is going to always be a big dark pool trade. So the SPY algo sentiment on SPY is 286.73. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't pay attention to the screen very much either, but Qs. So this is the algo score too, similar to that first screen I use all the time. It's just set into, looks like intraday. So the algos, this doesn't make any sense because the algo score is 286.73. So they're saying towards the end of the day, the algo is saying you want to buy SPY is what this algo is saying. I don't use this screen. The dark pool screen I'll show you next is the main one. Highest change dark pools. This is not anything. Now this down here, the dark pool ticker dashboard, when you start seeing names you recognize like SE, United Healthcare, you want to look at the percent of the daily amount change. This is nothing. But when you see something like a 500% change on daily amount, which is basically volume, they purchased 259 million in dark pool on ASML. And I'll pull up ASML on the next screen, and then I want to look at, so like this, SNY has a 1400% change in volume on dark pool. So that's something you'd want to take a look at when you start seeing these massive percent gains. What else? Pepsi's, we know is hot. Starbucks is hot. That's a pretty big change on Starbucks. But we don't know if they're buying or selling, so I'll get into that here in a minute. Car, 92%. I don't know anything about this MedP, but it has an 1,887% dark pool print percentage up. So might check that out sometime. But this is what I use it for if I'm charting the night before and I'm looking at stuff the next days. So let's look at Boeing because it's puking and started to recover a little bit. But what I go to is I'll scroll down to here. This is what I care about, is the latest dark pool activity. So on September 9th, there was 45 million in dark pool that came in. And on 9/8, there was another 50 million in dark pool that came in. So what I'll do is, and then also at 9/8 at the same strike, another 15 million. So what I'll do is I'll go to my chart, and I'll go to Boeing. I should have, yeah, I've got dark pools on here already. Let me blow this out. So I set that dark pool that came in the other day at 211.40. So what I use this for is support and resistance. Because if you start breaking through these dark pools to the downside, that means this is in bigger trouble. Because once again, we don't know what if they bought or sold here at 211.40, but we know from watching charts and price action in the strat that once we start breaking these resistance or these support lines, we start seeing Boeing kind of puke Monday and Tuesday again. It's pretty safe to say that this guy got out of this Boeing if it keeps going down. And then there was another one on 8/31 for 27 million that I have marked on here. That was at 217.66. So 8/31 would have been right there. And so he bought in the night before. I don't remember when it was. And it went up to 223.81 from that mark. But see, now we're kind of in this channel of this dark pool. My resistance, my support, and that's how I use dark pool lines. Because it'd be awesome if we could know what they're buying or if it's buying or selling, but unfortunately, we just don't. So I definitely use them for support and resistance lines. Go back to TradyTics. So that, and then, as you can see, I just marked those on my TOS charts, and I put the price they bought at and how much millions of dollars I spent. And I also don't pay attention to like if it's 17 million 5 times, I'll add all that up in the same price range. Then that's how I'll mark my chart with a dark pool. But on something like Boeing, these aren't that impressive of dark pool numbers, so I pretty much just ignore them. This is what I want to know: 50 million, 100 million, and then like Visa on the dark pool side was doing some crazy dark pools before that run up. They're probably gone now, and he's got to fix that too, I think, so they stay on here longer. But yeah, the 831s aren't on here. So at 224.18, you had on September 3rd, you had 150 million in dark pool. I mean, that's going to get my attention. So I'll go back to my chart on Visa. And pull that up real quick. And that was at 224.18. So there's my support for next week if I'm trading Visa, is that 224 large dark pool. Because that's a big purchase, and he bought it before the run up. So, and the other thing we don't know is if he bought this in for the run up here, and then this is where he decided to take his profits. And let's look at later in the days. So we'll go up to 9. So 9.8 we had at the top of that, kind of close to that 230 mark where it went to. We had a huge, don't know if it's buy or sell, but 206.18 million. I'm going to definitely put that as my resistance line. And yeah, I've got it set on there as my resistance. So that's how I use dark pool. And to me, that kind of was a sign to me. I mean, I don't know, but now that I see this nasty candle on Friday, that was probably a sell-off. And we'll see if it bounces off of here, and we could just channel in between these big dark pools. And that's just how I use those. Let me see if there's any questions before I go any further, because I'm kind of going over the main two things I like. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to go over bullseye. So they have a swing profit. I don't use this too much either. It takes forever to load because it's doing its AI calculations. But basically, it's a swing trading ideas from their AI software, and it just gives you the confidence. So they're 93% confident that AEHR is going to go down. They're 90% confident AMC is going to go down, and they're almost 90% confident Moderna is going down. Moderna. And that's why I kind of don't take a lot of heart into these, because these are swings, and these could be 2 months out, a month away. I don't like swinging stuff for a month or two. I'm a short-term swinger and intraday, so I'm not trying to hold stuff for a week. I want to get my money and get out. Bullseye. So Bullseye is their intraday AI tool. You know, it's great for people that like to scalp real quick or catch a run. So at 15 minutes before close, the price action on Square is bullish, but they alerted a put buy. And the flow score is really kind of what you want to have, a higher flow score, like these 22.7s. I like to see them at least above 5, and then I will look at these hardcore ones where they're really high, like 47 flow score. But these zeros, not too interested in stuff with a zero flow score. This is the AI's confidence level that this will play out, 62%. And the way he teaches it is if it's above 60%, that's kind of what you want to look at. Anything below 60%, he says, is probably high probability of not working. So I kind of took that to heart from him and just only look at stuff above 60%, and I like to look at the flow score too. So going back to Square, price action's bullish, put buy. That's a kind of a red flag to me. 63% confidence. The stock is at 248.35 when that alert came out. The 230 strike, so that's pretty far out of the money on a put for Square, and they're telling you to get to October 15th, 230s. That's how much, 450,000 in premium. That's a decent chunk of change. So somebody, but here's what I also look at when I get these far out strikes too. sometimes I just think it's a hedge, and that's what you have to kind of determine within yourself and your own analysis. Um, because somebody might be long with a 500,000 of square calls, and they might be just, you know, trying to hedge this, because that's a pretty far out strike. And let's see. So SE is bullish, price action, another put buy. 116,000 in premium. Not, and this is one thing this is just my personal preferences with this thing that I'm sharing with you guys. But these smaller amounts like 100K, 100K, 48K, 67K, these are not, especially on something like Boeing. Um, these $67,000 purchases of contracts. I mean, there's guys all day. I won't mention one of the guys' names at a company, but I know for a fact he spends anywhere from 37,000 to 67,000 per purchase for his scalps, and he'll put in 67 grand for literally a 30-second scalp. So I don't take too much account into these small purchases, especially on big names like Boeing. So if you want to jump in something like this and just do a quick scalp, that's kind of what they're for. But confidence score is really low, so I wouldn't even look at it. But here, like GM, this will get my attention. $400,000. See, this is just one person purchasing this. This isn't 100 of us putting in a bunch of calls. This is one guy purchasing 400 grand on GM at the stock price 49.52. Strikes $50 for October 15th. So that's a pretty safe one for me to look at. United Airlines, here's another good one, 425 grand. But this is a leap, so I don't pay too much attention to leaps. So that's kind of the bullseye intraday trader, which is supposed to be an intraday trader, so I don't understand why the leaps come in, but it is what it is. They do have scanners. I don't use their scanners. They're more traditional TA scanners. There is some strat scanners on here, but I've messaged him. I just think he just doesn't have time to fix them. But his strat setups are 312, which has already been done. I told him we need the 3-1 and the 2-1 scanners done. But I just don't think he's had time. I'm gonna message him again about that. But yeah, so these so this is already played out. 312. Well, it's already done because the 2's already formed. So, but if you are a TA person, there's a bunch of TA stuff in here that you can scan for intraday. Flash, don't use this at all. Another intraday scanner that scans intraday stock data to find high quality signals. It's pretty much looks the same as the last one, but this must be with options. I don't use that flash. Don't use this either. So this scans for contracts and gives another AI expectation. I mean, a lot of the TradyTics people in the whole, if you look and talk to them or on Twitter, you're not going to hear much about any of this stuff. These last few things I've talked about, just not something I use or they use, and that's why I don't know a ton about it. I know this is their AI expectation, and you're supposed to go with the green. The greener the green, the better the chance. And they got some artificial intelligence of portfolios. I'm not going to get into that at all. You can do hedge research. I don't know what Peekaboo is. TradeScent. Amgen. So this is a news filter. So AI-driven curation of important daily news for over 5,000 stocks. So these are articles, and he tries to rate them. So he's neutral. So this is just a neutral reading, and everything's neutral so far that day. So if there's a buy signal, it'll say bullish or bearish. And what else? Crypto person. These are like if you want to do credit spreads, credit debits, you want to do more complex plays. So not something I pay much attention to either. And it does have a backtester. Um, so performance, this is their overall performance on Friday. So overall, if you look at all their tools, they were 68.9% accurate. The trading flow was 56% accurate. The bullseye was 66%, and the profit was 72%. So, and then it's the biggest flow winners. MTCH was a huge winner, 23,000% winner. The ABB put was an 804% put winner. And then these are the biggest bullseye winners. AFRM on September 9th went for 812%. And biggest bullish winners, CEI, KDMN. I don't know any of these people or companies. And then this is their biggest winners by sector. Utilities, they were 90% accurate. 85% materials. Energy, they were 80%. And they just didn't, tech, they were just okay. Consumer defensive, okay. And financial, did pretty good on financial and REITs. And what else? And that's about it for the quick kind of summary. I've taken now 45 minutes to talk about the whole thing. So I will take an hour, I guess, and I'll answer questions for like 15 more minutes. But kind of stick to what we want to, use the tool for. Let's see. Yeah, the breakouts is something to just get added, and then he's also going to be adding that divergence alert. And give me some feedback on how I did. I know I just kind of ran through that stuff, but I was trying to fit in as much of TradyTics as I could. And pop your questions in the Discord if you would. Nate, did I give you enough information? Is there anything you want me to just go dive deep into more? Me personally, I'm on the site more because when I get an alert from like your room, and I have the alerts already from the TradyTics, but it pops up on my phone, and then I'll go look at the flow. So basically, let's say I get an alert on. See, this is one thing that I need to talk to him about because scrolling up and down this thing is kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. I'll go straight to my ticker dashboard. I'll go straight to options, and let's say the room gets alerted Apple. I'll come straight to here, and I want to look at my algo score and my price. And I have 4 screens, so I got my TOS on one screen where I watch about 5 or 6 tickers at a time, and but this is what I want to see when I get an alert. So let's say it alerted Apple for a put here. This is what I want to see. I want to see this algo just puke along with the price action. The strat gets us in the trades, so don't ever forget that. Don't use, this is not a replacement for strat or, and there's some other technical analysis that goes along with everybody's trading. I'm a big VWAP guy. I don't trade anything long that's below VWAP. I don't trade anything short that's above VWAP. That's just my personal rules. Unless I'm just trying to find the bottom of a ticker, I will, full disclosure, I will try to find a bottom of some stuff, especially something that pukes like an Apple. I'll buy those dips all day. especially if I can find flow in it. Um, but yeah, I get the thing. I want to look at this. I want to make sure I've got my algos just going along with my price action. And then when you start seeing this flat line, or we start seeing the price reversal, anytime you get a flat line, that means they're not sure. We're not sure what we want to do here. We just do we want to just sit, which is what they kind of did. So my synopsis now on Apple is the big sell-off came off that news. They're like, well, it's Apple. We're not going to let this thing frickin' puke all damn day. So what I want to see Monday, first thing in the morning, is I want to see a big algo jump up. And if the price is still flat and I got a big algo jump up, I'll look for my strat entry on the 15-minute. That's how I love using this tool. Oh, and also Nate, you'll also have a tool in the Discord that has this same screen I have up here. It's not the exact same. The only problem is it's not real time. So you have to refresh it in the Discord. But if somebody wants to type in Apple in the Discord and see the algo, they can. So that's pretty freaking cool if you don't want to subscribe to it. But the cool thing about this is that this updates automatically on my screen every 30 seconds. And he's actually working on this too. I talked to him about this about 2 weeks ago, and it's just he had to actually get a new company to get his to get all the information from the stock markets into his system. But he's going to have a real-time algo coming here soon instead of a 30-second delay. Thanks. Well, guys, if that's all the questions you have, let's just enjoy the rest of our weekend. And you can PM me, or Nate, if you ever want to do like a one-on-one. I told you. I mean, I'm willing to help anybody that wants help. It's just how my nature. So, but I'll end it right there. And go Bears for us Bears fans. Later.